Hello viewers and welcome to another match of Warhammer 40,000 Conquest. My name is Mitch and I am the Hive Tyrant. Today I'm quite pleased to present the 5th of 8 total matches each filmed during the 2015 Conquest LCG Russian National Championships. All of this footage was sent in by a gentleman named Anton Elizarov, and this very video is going to be the final round of Swiss that I will be publishing taken from that tournament. To the left, we have a player named Klim Petrov, whom is going to be playing as an alternate art version of Eldorath Starbane, and to the right, we have a Packmaster Kith player, Pavel Ilichev. He's holding our initiative token, and his opening deploy action is going to be positioning a copy of Bloodied Reavers to planet number 1. For the cost of 2, it's got a command icon to attack as well as 2 hit points, and it receives a temporary +2 attack value bonus whenever a warlord happens to be present at its same planet. On the Eldar side of the table at planet number 4, we've got a copy of Void Pirate, 1 cost, 1 command icon +1 card bonus, and similarly, Eldorath throws out a copy of Rogue Trader at planet number 5, 1 cost, 1 command +1 resource bonus. Kith plays a copy of Raid. That's going to be 1 resource for Kith, -1 resource for Eldorath, and it looks like we see 2 copies of Incubus Warrior, 1 at planet number 3 for Kith, 1 at planet number 2 for Eldorath. Those units are 2 cost, 2 command, 3 attack, 1 hit point warrior trait units, and let us see what is next to come. Note, planet number 1, where we're definitely going to be seeing a battle, is Iridial the Healing Planet. It's a Tricon type planet, and if you take a look at our planetary lineup, we see each and every planet is going to have a red material type icon associated with it, so this could be a very quick game indeed. We see another Incubus Warrior put out by Kith to planet number 4, and now that's going to be a Void Pirate played out by Eldorath to planet number 3, opposite an Incubus Warrior, so at present Kith is looking to do pretty damn good in regard to command, but I can only hope for Eldorath's sake that he's got at least 1 copy of promotion sitting in his hand. And considering we've got Eldorath, considering we've also got Packmaster Kith as our chosen warlords today, I would definitely not rule out the possibility that a superiority could be played for the cost of a card in a resource to potentially shut off your opponent from being able to use some deleterious card effect, or just to end up reeling in some additional value for yourself, like at planet number 4, a superiority would net you 1 profitable resource, like a net gain of 1 resource. But we've got a promotion on that Void Pirate at planet number 3. We've got a Warlock Destructor position at planet number 2. That is going to be a 2 cost, 1 command icon, 3 attack, 4 hit point unit, where you have to pay an additional resource to keep it in play during the deploy phase. But it is a hell of a body for the price, and if you can avoid that upkeep, if you want to keep your enemy warlord away from a planet, then that could work out pretty much spectacularly. So let's see. Eldorath is going to show up at planet number 1. He's going to exhaust the Bloodied Reavers at that location. Kith instead shows up to planet number 3 to ensure that Eldorath is not going to be able to trigger Taurus, since Kith deals in high unit volume. Planet number 1 is going to be a card won by Eldorath. Planet number 2 is going to be a resource for Eldorath. Looks like planet number 3 is going to be 1 card, 1 resource to the right for Kith. Looks like planet number 4, we see superiority shut down that Incubus Warrior, and then played by the opposite player, we've got a copy of Superiority, presumably shutting off that Rogue Trader at planet number 5. So let's say planet number 4 is going to be a card and 2 resources for Eldorath, and planet number 5 is going to be nothing for Eldorath. But planet number 1, Eldorath is going to try to kill off that Bloodied Reavers by himself. He took a swing of 1. Pact of the Homunculi was discarded as shields, and now Eldorath is going to have the opportunity to try to kill off a 4 attack value unit. So Eldorath has initiative. He has now swung twice. He's successfully managed to deal a point of damage to that Bloodied Reavers. It itself is going to be swinging in return. Eldorath is potentially going to be taking 4 damage total, but keep in mind that Iridial is the planet currently under contest, and if Eldorath can manage to kill off that Bloodied Reavers, even if he only has 1 hit point remaining, he'll be able to strip all the damage off of himself, and he'll be able to survive. Looks like Eldorath discards a copy of Nullify as a shield, so he's only going to be standing to take 3 points of damage. Neither of our players retreats. That must mean Packmaster Kith has a shield. Kith discards something. I can't quite tell what it is. It almost looks like an Archon's Terror, so that's going to preserve that Bloodied Reavers. The Bloodied Reavers takes a swing, and that is going to be another, thankfully, 3 points of damage thanks to the timely interjection of a shield card in the form of Foretell. And now it looks like Eldorath is going to be sitting with 1 hit point left. I cannot quite tell if Pavel is holding any cards in hand, but it's going to be down. All right, there we go. So that is going to be the Bloodied Reavers retreating, and that is going to be a bold Eldorath Starbane managing to beat a Bloodied Reavers. That is definitely not something you see every day, but congratulations to Eldorath. That is going to be minus 6 points of damage. That is going to be a planet type icon of each color added to your victory display. And now Kith, the Incubus Warrior, is going to take a swing. That is going to be a dead Void Pirate and a discarded copy of Promotion. Kith is going to be able to win at planet number 3, but looks like Eldorath had 4 units relative to Packmaster Kith 6, so Kith isn't going to be able to trigger Taurus. We're currently in the process of going through an HQ phase, and it looks like our new 5th planet is going to be Karnath, the wildcard planet that allows you to trigger the battle ability of any other planet in play. Both of our players have come across 4 additional resource tokens. They must have found those foraging throughout the Traxxas sector, and then both of our players pick up the top 2 cards of their deck and then add them to their hand. Currently, our initiative token is going to be in the possession of Eldorath Starbane. Note that that's one of the Team Covenant branded initiative tokens there, indicating that Eldorath has initiative. And Eldorath throws out his own copy of Warlock Destructor to planet number 1. So Kith has had to pay a resource to keep that Warlock Destructor in play. I believe Kith threw out another copy of Raid, so -1 resource for Eldorath, +1 resource for Kith. Eldorath throws out a copy of Eldar Survivalist to planet number 5. It's great in that it's a 2-cost unit with a command icon, no attack, 2 hit points, and a +1 card, and +1 resource bonus. But why Eldar Survivalist is a bit of a poor life choice is just because your opponent can throw a copy of Incubus Warrior out to that planet, and then 2 command icons is higher than 1, and your 0-2 unit isn't doing you a whole hell of a lot of good. But both of our players are going to send their Warlords to planet number 1. We'll have to watch out for superiority. Looks like our players are playing fast and furious. Kith shows up, generates a Chimera token. Eldorath shows up, exhausts that Warlock Destructor. Planet number 1 is going to be Eldorath winning a resource. Planet number 2 is going to be a card and a resource for Kith. Planet number 3 is going to be a couple of resources for Kith. Planet number 4 is going to be a card and 2 resources for Eldorath. And planet number 5 looks like that's going to be a card and a resource for Packmaster Kith. So planet number 1 is going to be Yavahn. It's going to be the only planet upon which we're going to be seeing a battle. Note, I suppose at any point right after Eldorath is commit to a planet, he could use Foresight to move himself to another planet, but it looks like that is not the case. And Kith is looking to take a bit of punishment, because here at planet number 1, that looks like an Agonizer of Bren being discarded, and therefore the Incubus Warrior, which I could only imagine was trying to kill off that copy of the Chimera token, that is going to be 3 - 3 is a whole lot of nothing, and, 0 is a number. It doesn't do you a whole lot of good, but there's that Chimera token dealing out 2 points of damage to Eldorath Starbane. Interesting that it would be the Warlord to be damaged as opposed to that Incubus Warrior, something along those lines. We've got a copy of Archon's Terror that is going to be removing the Warlock Destructor from that planet. And now what exactly is Kith going to be doing? What is Eldorath going to be doing? I can only imagine that what Kith is going to be doing is taking a swing and killing off that copy of the Incubus Warrior, and if memory serves, I don't think there's so much as a single Eldar faction army unit sitting in Eldorath's discard pile, so Gift of Isha is not going to be able to do him any good. Note that a Dark Eldar allied common unit is not going to be able to be recurable thanks to Gift of Isha, and that routed Warlock Destructor does no good whatsoever sitting there in the HQ. So Yavahn is going to be captured by Packmaster Kith. Looks as though Eldorath ran, kicking and screaming away from that planet, and I definitely cannot blame him in the presence of the, torturous Dark Eldar there. But we're now in the process of going through an HQ phase. Looks as though Kith did not decide to trigger Yavahn. Kith has got a Warlock Destructor. Eldorath has also got a Warlock Destructor. Therefore, both of our players are going to have to untap, upkeep, and draw, and ensure that they're able to pay that resource to keep their respective Warlock Destructors in play. Eldorath is going to go ahead and ready his units. Thank you very much, sir. Note, Kith has got our initiative token. Both of our players drew 2 cards. They came across 4 resources in total. Now, our new 5th planet is going to be Planum. Definitely worth keeping in mind. Both of our players have one planet type icon of each kind: material, technology, and strong point, red, blue, and green, respectively. And now the planet under contest is going to be Taurus, where Kith has the initiative, and where Kith has an Incubus Warrior as well as a Chimera token. So, it's going to be Kith's opportunity to deploy. What exactly are we going to see? We haven't seen an Archon's Palace yet, or a Chimera Den, so Eldorath can't be feeling too absolutely horrible. Looks like we've got a copy of Bloodied Reavers being put out to planet number 5 by Eldorath, which could potentially be attacking for 4. So let's say if Kith takes planet number 1 and planet number 2, that is going to be Kith's game, or if Kith takes really any number of different planets, they're still all red except for our current planet number 5. At planet number 1, we've got Autarch Salakia. That's going to be a 4-cost unique Eldar faction army unit, so therefore it's another option with which to use Nullify. 4 cost sucks, but 1 command icon also kind of sucks for that cost. 3/3 also kind of sucks for that cost. But what does not suck, my dear viewers, is the ability to pay 1 additional resource to confer Armor Bane or Area Effect 1 or Mobile onto Autarch Salakia until the end of the round. And given how things have turned out, I definitely think Area Effect 1 would probably be the most beneficial ability, because that would allow you the opportunity to clear out that Incubus Warrior and that Chimera token, but for the cost of 5, that about sucks, and that Incubus Warrior is going to be able to attack first, and that is definitely suboptimal. But both of our Warlords have shown up at planet number 2. That means Eldorath Starbane is going to exhaust that copy of Incubus Warrior. Looks like planet number 1 is going to be a card and a resource for Kith. Planet number 2, that is looking to be... yeah, I guess that's going to be a card and 2 resources for Eldorath. Good on him. Planet number 3, that's going to be a card and 2 resources for Eldorath. Planet number 4, Eldar Survivalist. Bit of a suboptimal play, I can't help but think. That is going to be a card and a resource for Kith, and planet number 5 is thankfully going to be a card and a resource for Eldorath. So, we're going to see battles at planet number 1. We're also going to see battles at planet number 2, which is the routing planet. Looks like we've actually got a resource spent to confer Mobile to Autarch Salakia, so Autarch Salakia is going to run away from that planet, and that's going to be a great opportunity for Autarch Salakia to use Area Effect 1 to potentially kill an Incubus Warrior and 2 Chimera tokens and damage Kith and damage a Warlock Destructor. But, well, actually, I'm not sure if you can trigger Autarch Salakia's ability multiple times and picking different things. I don't actually think that you can if memory serves, but we'll certainly find out in just one moment. So, planet number 1 is going to be Taurus. That's going to be a red and a green icon added to Kith's display. And now if Kith picks up another red planet, if she picks up, like if she loses the next 3 planets, which I would imagine is going to be unlikely, but who will know? Who will, I guess we'll see is the point I'm trying to make. Then Planum would be a victory condition for Kith as well. So it's going to be on Eldorath to try to defend at each and every one of these planets. Chimera token takes a swing. That's going to be 2 points of damage dealt to Eldorath Starbane, and therefore I guess you can only choose 1 keyword for Autarch Salakia to gain each round, because that's going to be a dead copy of Incubus Warrior as opposed to a whole hell of a lot of dead Chimera. Looks like Pavel is going to take a moment to assess the discard pile of Eldorath. He is probably checking for Archon's Terror and things like that. He's probably also checking for dead Eldar faction army units, and maybe a lot of the damage going out to Eldorath is in deliberate attempt to try to work around Gift of Isha. So Kith takes a swing. Empower is discarded. 2-2, as we've already established, is going to be 0. Good on me for my elementary mathematics. Eldorath takes a swing at something. I would imagine a Chimera token, but promotion is going to spare that token from destruction, and Void Pirate takes a swing, ineffectually flailing at Packmaster Kith or something for a whopping 0. And this is most definitely not a zero-sum game. As we come to the end of a combat round, all of our players are going to ready their units. It's going to be on Packmaster Kith to decide what, if any of these units, he wants to retreat with first. And that is a hell of a lot of resource tokens for Kith. What are some cards we might need to look out for? Oh, I don't know, Archon's Terror and Klavex Warleader, of course, but None of these units have been, as of yet, damaged, so perhaps Klavek's Warleader is not an inhabitant of Pavel's hand. But Archon's Terror is in Klim's hand, and that is going to banish that Warlock Destructor away from the planet. Now it's going to be up to Eldorath to beat up these, what look to be skinned Chimera from whatever nightmarish hell they hail from. A Chimera token is going to deal out 2 points of damage lovingly to that Warlock Destructor. It's going to return the affection in killing off a ready Chimera token, and love is most definitely in the air during this match as Eldar fight Dark Eldar. There's definitely no love lost between these two brothers. Packmaster Kith, one of the sole remaining ready units, is going to be attacking something. My heart tells me a Warlock Destructor, or is it going to be okay, so it's going to be Autarch Salakia, and are we going to see a double Klavek's Warleader if Eldorath is going to be exhausted? That would be ridiculous, and therefore I would absolutely love to see it. So let's see what happens. Let's hope Eldorath is going to be exhausted. Is that, yes, it's a dead Chimera token, please, because it would be hilarious to do the double Klavek's Warleader, but let us see. All of our units are going to be exhausted, save Autarch Salakia. Autarch Salakia takes an attack. That is going to be 3 points of damage dealt out to Packmaster Kith. A note for dear Taylor Parolini, I've now familiarized myself with these Team Covenant tokens, and I can differentiate 3 and 1. So thank you for the advice, my good sir. And now let us see. We've come toward the end of a combat round. Do we have any actions for Kith? Do we have any actions for our Eldar player? That's going to be a copy of Searing Brand. Not what I was expecting, but that is going to be some unpreventable damage. So it's basically at the same planet as exists your Warlord. That's going to be 3 unpreventable damage directed toward the army unit of your choice. Is it going to be a Warlock Destructor? Is it going to be Autarch Salakia? You can, however, discard 2 cards, and that looks like what Eldorath is doing. In order to negate that effect, we're going to ready our units, and then is Kith going to be retreating? Yes! Kith retreats from that planet, so I guess Pavel didn't fulfill my deepest, darkest desires of Klavek's Warleaders, because Kith retreats, and that is going to be a routed Incubus Warrior, and all of a sudden, God, you know, Kith, things were looking so good for you in regard to command, and now things are looking great for our Eldar player, but note, Eldorath is basically going to have to prevent his opponent from winning a single additional planet, and planet number 2 is going to be a hell of a great destination for Kith, because if she wins that, even though Farron might be won by our Eldar player, and that's going to be another routed unit of Kith's, that's going to be 1 point of damage to each and every unit in Eldorath's HQ, which would include Autarch Salakia, unless Salakia uses mobile again, and it would include that Warlock Destructor and that Void Pirate. Both of our players still have a Warlock Destructor, by the way, so that's going to be additional resources spent to keep those in play. I believe we just saw a Rogue Trader put to planet number 4. We've got a copy of Slith Mercenary put out to planet number 3. Again, Eldar Survivalist, very easy card to work around. I understand it's great in theory, but in practice, there's a reason why a lot of our players no longer use that. But this is a video from a more civilized age when Eldar Survivalist was still in vogue. So, you know, both of our players have still got quite a few resources to go, but I don't think they have nearly so many cards as they do resources. Kith can't quite tell how many resources that is in hand, but I can currently count just 1 schoolgirl remaining in Kliv's reservoir of cards. So let us see. That's going to be another Warlock Destructor played to planet number 2, which is presumably Kith's destination, but what exactly does she have? Does she have a Klavek's Warleader or an Archon's Terror to safely remove the Destructor from that planet? Kith has got 3 damage. There's no remaining healing planet in play. We've got a copy of the signature army unit Kith's Chimera Masters being garrisoned at planet number 2. It's going to hunker down with its command icon, its 1 attack, and its 2 hit points, and of course it's going to generate a 2/1 Chimera creature token there, and we've got another copy of Slith Mercenary that's going to basically guarantee that Kith is going to win command at that planet, even if Eldorath, well, I guess not if Eldorath shows up, but where are our warlords going to be sent? Eldorath goes to planet number 2, Kith goes to planet number 2, so Kith, I can only imagine it's going to be the Slith Mercenary being exhausted. Therefore, that's going to be Eldorath winning a card and 2 resources at planet number 2, and then looks like that's going to be a card and 2 resources 1 at planet number 1 by Eldorath. Planet number 3 is going to be a card and a resource to the right for Kith. Planet number 4, though, is going to be a card and 2 resources for Eldorath. So make it good, Eldorath. You've got planet number 1. Things are looking pretty decent for you at that planet, but Eldorath is looking to be critically wounded. He's only got 3 hit points remaining, and he's not going to be able to withstand the Dark Eldar firepower for long, especially if Autarch Salakia ends up relocating to planet number 2. Note that Eldorath has the initiative token, and it's probably good for the sake of game balance that you can't use mobile and then grant your same unit armor bane, so that's going to be 1 resource spent on Autarch Salakia. Autarch Salakia moves over to planet number 2. And now Kith is going to be in a real crappy position. Kith could use an Archon's Terror to remove that Warlock Destructor. We could see Klavex Warleader remove that copy of Autarch Salakia, but if Kith doesn't use a couple of different actions like that, and Kith no longer has, well, okay, so Eldorath has got 6 resources. We could see Raid, then Archon's Terror, then Klavex Warleader. That would be beautiful, but something in my heart tells me that that is statistically unlikely to occur. So how is Kith gonna get out of this one? We've got initiative in Eldorath's hands. Does Kith have an action or not? Looks like our players are talking about something to do with a Warlock Destructor. The tournament organizer has come over. Note that at planet number 1, we've yet to see any kind of ability, and we could see a unit routed. We could have even seen a Warlock Destructor arrive at planet number 1, kill that Warlock Destructor, then it would have attacked, killed the Void Pirate, and then we could have seen, I don't know, Autarch Salakia or that Warlock Destructor routed, so definitely plenty of different play options there for Kith, depending, of course, upon the contents of Pavel's hand. So, what do we see? That has got to be an Archon's Terror, judging by that color, so goodbye to a non-unique unit. That is going to be routed. It almost looked like that unit was discarded, but I hope it was not, and I just missed it. And now Eldorath is potentially going to be taking an attack. Or is there... Okay, so there we go. We don't have an additional action from our Dark Eldar players. So Autarch Salakia threatening to bloody Packmaster Kith. What is it going to be? Note that it's 2 red material type icons for Eldorath. That is going to be a bloodied Pack... Okay, maybe, yes, maybe, yes. All right, Packmaster Kith is bloodied, so congratulations to Eldorath. You've definitely accomplished something admirable in that. And now it's going to be up to whichever one of these players is going to be winning the first planet the next round. That's going to be the 3rd red material type icon they need, and that is going to be the game. So a Chimera token takes a swing at chews most of the remaining, musculature from Eldorath's frail Eldar body, and now he's hanging on by a bit of a string. So as soon as he's flipped over to his bloodied side, I can only imagine that that's going to be representing a Chimera token chewing off one of Eldorath's hands. And I suppose that Warp Lightning must require some sort of somatic component, if I remember my Dungeons & Dragons, because once Eldorath is bloodied, he's no longer able to launch said lightning, at least judging by the card art. But looks like Eldorath uses a combat turn to retreat. That's going to be a Kith's Chimera Master taking a swing. That's going to be Autarch Salakia killed. That's going to be a Gift of Isha. That's going to be Autarch Salakia being returned to play, and that is potentially going to be a resource spent to give Autarch Salakia Area Effect 1, and that is looking to be an absolute nightmare for Packmaster Kith, if that is indeed what happened, because that unit was killed and then it returns to play. I would imagine it acts as, basically a brand new copy of itself. I happen to, yes, there we go. So good on you, Klim. Hell of a play. 2 dead Chimera tokens, 2 possibly dead Incubus Warriors, and that's going to be a point of damage dealt out to Kith's Chimera Masters, point of damage dealt out to Slith Mercenaries, point of damage being dealt out to the Warlock Destructor. That was a hell of a play, and Eldorath is definitely going to need that if he's going to have any chance at all to win this game. Those Warlock Destructors, all I know is that's going to be a big resource investment for Eldorath during the following round there, but prior to the end of the combat phase, that Rogue Trader takes its action to, do a little bit of fist pumping to amp up Autarch Salakia. Note, Eldorath has the initiative token, and is that going to be another area effect? God, that is just dirty. Yes, it is. That's dead Slith Mercenary and a dead Kith's Chimera Masters. God damn. Autarch Salakia is doing work, and that is going to be Archon's Terror, not Archon Salakia's Terror, Autarch Salakia's Terror, but they may as well recall it that. So, nicely done, Klim. That was a hell of a play. Goodbye, Warlock Destructor. Aatrox Prime fires off a volley into Packmaster Kith's HQ, and now Kith is going to be sitting there as a 2/5 Warlord, although for some reason there's going to be a Chimera token sitting in that HQ, is at least what it looks like. I didn't quite catch if there was a shield card used to save that or not, but that Warlock Destructor sitting there at 3 damage, 1 hit point remaining. We see another HQ phase. Remember, whichever player ends up winning, this battle is going to end up winning the game. Looks like during our deploy phase, we lose 1 copy of Warlock Destructor for Eldorath Starbane. Autarch Salakia is still sitting at that planet. Note, it only persists until the end of the combat phase, is how Gift of Isha is worded, so any moment now, I would imagine that our Eldar player is going to remove that from the tabletop. At least I hope that's going to be the case. Kith throws out a copy of Bloodied Reavers to planet number 1. Autarch Salakia is still sitting at planet number 1, unless I somehow missed it, and our Eldar player put into play an additional copy. Okay, I didn't think so. There we go. Yes, thank you, sir. So Autarch Salakia is gone buried underneath that Warlock Destructor. Oh, doesn't that about suck? That's going to be Doom, played by Packmaster Kith, so all non-unique units in either player's HQ are going to be destroyed. And now things are looking pretty shit for Eldorath. Eldorath is a 1/1 modified Warlord. Packmaster Kith is a 2/4 Warlord. And a Bloodied Reavers sitting at planet number 1 is a 4 attack value Warlord whenever a 4 attack value army unit whenever a Warlord is present. So is victory going to be stolen from Eldorath at the very last moment? It looks like it just may be. That Bealtan Guardians at planet number 2 is a 2 command icon unit for the cost of 1, but it's not going to do any good for Eldorath, and Eldorath might be losing the game here at the very last moment. Let's hope for Eldorath's sake that he is going to get some amazing stuff in regard to command. All right, so Eldorath arrives to planet number 2, exhausts that enemy unit. He uses Foresight to relocate himself to planet number 1. That's going to be that copy of Bloodied Reavers exhausted, but things are looking all but insurmountable for Eldorath unless he's able to use a Gift of Isha, and it looked like there was one in his hand. What exactly does Kith have? Looks like planet number 1 is going to be a card and 2 resources for Eldorath. Planet number 2 is going to be a card and a resource for Eldorath, and planet number 3 is going to be a grand total of 3 resources and 2 cards for Eldorath. Is Eldorath going to be able to use, I don't know, a couple copies of Gift of Isha to recur the Warlock Destructor and, well, God, I'm trying to think back to the discard pile because there was the Doom. So it would be, I think, 2 copies of Warlock Destructor are at the top of his discard pile, and even if Eldorath ends up getting beaten, all right, that is going to be a copy of Empower being used, which seems very strange. That's going to make Eldorath an attack value of 2, and he's only got 2 hit points remaining, so looks like Kith, a 1/5 Warlord, took a swing, and that's going to be Superiority discarded as shields. So Eldorath is going to be able to survive that. Eldorath killed that copy of Bloodied Reavers. Kith takes a swing. That's going to be Promotion discarded. Kith has got 3 points of damage thanks to Eldorath, and this is one hell of a game. We're going to come to the... Oh, Kith takes a swing. That is going to be GG right there. So Kith took a swing, Eldorath blocks it, and an empowered Eldorath Starbane with 2 total hit points ended up assassinating Packmaster Kith. So that is a hell of a game. An amazing final round of Swiss. So viewers, I really hope you enjoyed this one half so much as I did. Anton Elizarov, thank you very much for affording me the opportunity to publish and commentate this spectacular game. What a match. So thank you for watching, and as always, always, if you enjoyed this content, be sure to hit that like button and consider subscribing to this channel if you've not done so already, or if you are already subscribed, as ever, you're always encouraged to share this content, because the more viewers there are that stumble upon these videos, the more people end up seeing Conquest LCG. They may give the game a try, they might join our community, and it gives all the more reason to Fantasy Flight Games to continue to support this fantastic product. If at any point you'd like to get in touch with me, I would encourage you to do so through Facebook or on Twitter, and I definitely hope you join me for the next 3 matches in this series, which are going to be chronicling the events leading up to and containing the finals. If you ever want to support the Hive Tyrant, if you ever want to assist me in improving this channel, I would be absolutely honored, humbled, and deeply appreciative were you to make a contribution to my Patreon, because even $1 or $2 on a strictly monthly basis does wonders in helping me to recover some of my file hosting and operating expenses and to invest any surplus back into improving this channel. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and once again, be sure to check back in again soon for much more Conquest LCG content to come.